Hello everyone. So I'm here today to do my second NaNoWriMo prep video. I'm here today with another doll. This one is named Parfait and she's a Fairyland Feeple 60 Moe Line Wren in tan. And she is indeed in Sparrow's story if you watched my last video. She is actually, as I have found out recently, his best friend. And yeah, I do have some updates on how prep is going, but also prep hasn't really been going and it's actually been really frustrating. I have been super busy because I'm going out of town starting Thursday and coming back next week. And that has given me no time to focus on anything else. It also didn't help that this past weekend I offered, but I had to watch my roommate's dogs, who you may be able to hear them now, is because my roommates aren't home and they're kind of freaking out about it. They're usually home by now, but they're probably on their way. So I spent the weekend doing that, and unfortunately watching them is a little difficult. It is an actual job function watching them. So I wasn't able to do anything except watch them, and I watched some TV. And yeah, I didn't do anything that I wanted to do in regards to prep. And then I was like, well, that's fine. That's fine. I'll do it tomorrow. And then what ended up happening is I ended up just watching a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was really good. It was Korean and it was amazing, but that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And so yeah, NaNoWriMo prep hasn't been going well at all. And it's really getting to me, but I'm trying to be mellow about it. I'm trying not to freak out because I still do have some time, but I'm also trying to push myself a little forward because I have to get some sort of outline down. I mean, I guess the word still applies, skeleton, but it's just that popped up first instead of outline. That's awesome. Anyway, I have come up with a couple things, including the fact that where I started my story, I don't think I have to start my story there. One of my biggest problems with writing, and I don't know if this is a problem I've always had or it's just been with this story in what I call my main story. Sparrow's story is just kind of like an offshoot story, but I do have a main story. And I realized recently that I like to over-explain, or I like to control how people see my story. So what I wrote for NaNoWriMo last year was, I don't want to say origin story, but it was them before they met up. And it was wasting a lot of time and a lot of it could be I don't want to say glossed over, but summed up. Okay. A lot of it could be summed up in concise paragraphs later once they're all together as a band, rather than me writing these whole very long sections of them being on their own individual people and then them meeting up and then I tell them the story of them all together. That was taking up too much time, and it was taking up a lot of time that it didn't need to take up, but I wanted people to know the characters right off the bat instead of dropping in hints, dropping in backstory, dropping in. I guess I just never wrote that way. I'm not sure because it's not it's terrible to write like that, but it is when 50,000 words and I hadn't even gotten to them getting together to form the band. That means in 50,000 words, I got literally nowhere because them being together as a band and working together to help Sparrow with this thing is the story. Like that is a big, huge chunk of the story. So starting before the story and starting with 50,000 words of that story, like, I don't know why I didn't realize last year that that was not the way to go. But at the same time, I think the reason why I like, especially this story, not my main story, let's put that aside. But I think the reason why I wrote that way last year is because I didn't know the characters myself. So I need to get that together. And one of the things I realized over the weekend is that Parfait and Sparrow are best friends. And I don't know why I never saw it before. Like, they always, like, I think it's because their dynamics are completely different. So I never saw them as real friends, I guess. I know that sounds weird. The fact that I never contemplated that, but her personality, like, this is, you know, her in a, like, sort of physical form. As you can see, like, she loves bright colors, she dyes her hair a lot, she loves makeup, she loves Hello Kitty, she loves all this different, like, excuse me, she's like this big, bright personality bomb of a person. And Sparrow is just the opposite. Like, he likes to, which is weird because he's the lead singer of this band, but he very much likes it. Like, he's like a negative of a person. It's hard to explain, but you probably get it. And again, I'm over explaining. I do that so much. But I'm going to try and get a handle on that and, like, go from that revelation and the other revelation I had. And I don't know why I didn't think of this before. And again, I think it's because I felt the need to explain because I'm like, you have to see the story this exact way, which is dumb. I need to let the readers breathe, and I have to just deal with that. But one aspect I didn't realize is, why do I have to, like, Sparrow has to go, I guess, on a quest. I'm not sure how to explain it any other way. He has to find out something and deal with it. And I made it that from the age of 15, he was obsessed with finding a way to do this. And then he decided to do it through a band, and then he put the band together, and then they did the thing, and hooray, you know, hero. Not saying that was the wrong way to go. I'm just saying that there's a different way I could have gone about it, especially because, like, I don't know, it just seemed like so much to have him be obsessed for that long and then finally decide on a band. And I'm like, why though? It'd be for more concise and makes a little more sense in my brain if he not forgot about, but let himself put it aside. And for some reason, when that clicked in my brain, I was like, I think that's what might happen. Because if you watch my video on Sparrow, he is caught between two worlds. One world that he remembers it being, like, he remembers having a mother and a sister, and that they were taken or something, but they existed. And then he's caught between that world and the world he is currently living in, which his sister was never born and his mother died. So this is the two worlds he's caught between. And he actually ends up going to get care for this, to get talk to a therapist and everything. And he actually gets a warning from this therapist, who turns out not to be an actual therapist. He gets a warning from this man to stop, to let this go, to not pursue it any further. And that he has to. Like, he has to, or there will be consequences, etc. And in my original story that I wrote last year, or in telling in the video, I had it that he lies and says that he'll let it go, but then he decides to go and find a way to research what's going on without alerting this doctor, he just calls him doctor, this doctor's suspicion. And that is definitely a way to go. But I feel like him starting at 15, he would have done everything he does at the current age. I think I have his age at about like 25 or something, 26. He's actually older, but I don't think it would take him 10 years to think to do this thing. I also don't think it would take him 10 years to even be popular with this thing. Not super popular, but popular enough to attempt to do this thing. So I don't know. It just made more sense that he decided to let it go, to believe the doctor's words. I mean, after all, he has zero proof. And all he has is that memory, and he can only hold on to it for so long before, and with everyone else telling him everything else. I mean, that everything he believes is wrong and not believe it's wrong himself. And the way I had it is that he thinks this for years, that he made that up, had a dream, blah, 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 until he finds evidence of it later that he was right. And it's after the band is already together and he's friends with not like close friends, but he is friends with at least Parfait, knows her boyfriend. Loki, I believe they meet later. And he'll probably be the doll in my next video. And I think that's how it's going to go. And for some reason, that made things fall better into place. And I think while both the ideas I have come up with are valid ways a story can go, I think when things start to, like when one makes things fall into place in like a line, that's the one you have to go with, even if you have written so much of the other thing. And even if you're attached to the other idea. Like, I get very, very attached to story ideas. And it's hard to let them go or reformat them, even if it makes the story better. And it really drives me crazy because you should want to really make the story better. So that's something else I need to work on. I'm just a mess of a writer. I don't even understand why I decided to do this, but one day I hope to be successful at it because it's what I've always wanted to do. And I don't want to go without doing that. And that's why last year I really buckled down and like sunk my teeth into NaNoWriMo. And that's why I'm doing it again this year. Next year, my biggest goal in the world is to hopefully take what I write in November and turn that into what I want it to be. And of course, expand on it because I don't think I can write this whole novel in 50,000 words and get it like towards getting published. That is my goal. It was my goal this year until I realized the story was not working. And it's only like within these last couple of months where I really started to dig through and find out what the issue is. And I'm glad I am, even though it's hard. And you almost feel like you wasted your time. But no, I mean, it isn't a waste of time. What would be like horrible out of this situation is to not write this story to the best of my ability and its ability to be a story. And I don't know, that's just really important. Like there's multiple ways, I mean, to tell a story. We've seen multiple ways to tell a story, but I mean, there's ones that impact us more than others, and you have to ask yourself why. And the reason why is because that person who wrote it or decide to tell it, you know, because it could also be like in a movie form or a play or something, they went the path that best told this story. And that's what I want to do. Even if that means I have to just flush writing away and like cross out ideas and say this doesn't work and whatever. I want to do the best by the story. So I'm going to continue working on finally actually getting an outline down, even if it's the most basic one sheet of paper thing anyone has ever seen. I want to get something down so when it's November 1st, I can just go and I know where I'm going. And I don't know, just I guess cross your fingers for me. We'll see where I am next week. I'm hoping that while I'm away on my vacation, that some fresh ideas come to me, because I'm going actually for the first time in like 8 years out of my city. I'm going to Salem actually, and I'm hoping that when I'm there in fresh scenery and everything, that I get some form of writing down. And by writing, I mean plotting. I'm trying not to write actually anything for the story till November 1st. So, yeah, I hope for the best. Wish me luck. I wish you all luck. Thank you so much if you're watching these videos and following along. And I hope we all do well. And I hope you're having more success than I am at actually prepping rather than, you know, Revelation Central. So, let me go ahead and stop blathering now. Thank you so much if you watched, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.